Nothing explodes. Nothing collapses. No God acts, Dakun. And yet, from this moment on, the universe can no longer remain open. Before this episode, existence had ground. Existence had pressure. But it still had an escape. Upward. That escape is now gone. Not by force, not by intention, not by decision, but by the appearance of a condition. This episode is not about the sky as an object. It is about why space stops being permissive. Why direction begins to matter. Why position becomes unavoidable. Nothing is damaged. Nothing is restrained. But freedom has quietly disappeared. Because the moment above exists. Existence gains a frame. And once framed, pressure no longer dissipates. It accumulates, silently, inescapably. Before Uranus, there is no above. There is only extension. Expansion without orientation. Gaia creates ground. Ground creates staying. Staying creates pressure, but pressure without direction remains unresolved. Without an upper condition, existence can still escape upward, even while being held below. Uranus does not arrive to act. He appears because structure requires completion. A ground without a sky is incomplete. A limit without enclosure is unstable. Uranus is not chosen. He is required. He exists because pressure needs a counter condition. This is not creation by will. It is emergence by necessity. The universe does not want a sky. The universe cannot remain without one. Uranus is not height. He is not air. He is not weather. He is enclosure. The first continuous upper boundary. The first condition that says, nothing passes freely anymore. This does not compress existence. It contains it. Containment is not violence. It is structure. Before Uranus space had no ceiling, after Uranus space becomes bounded, not closed but framed. Framing is subtle, it does not announce itself. It does not interrupt motion. It simply changes what motion means. Direction is not movement. Direction is constraint. Once above exists, every position gains relation. Up, down, between. The universe is no longer a field. It is now a volume. Volume implies containment. Containment implies consequence. Nothing collides yet. Nothing resists yet. But everything is now positioned. Position is vulnerability. This episode is not about conflict. It is about why conflict will later become unavoidable. Gaia does not react. Uranus does not act upon her. They coexist as conditions. Ground below, sky above, no struggle, no motion, no resistance. And yet, existence is now held from both sides. Held does not mean crushed. Held means unable to escape. This is the birth of spatial responsibility.
Remaining becomes a condition. Space holding memory.
From this point forward,
Neutrality.
anything that exists must remain somewhere. Remaining is never neutral. The sky is not distant, it is continuous. Uranus does not hover, he spans. Span removes gaps, isahanam. Span removes exit paths. This does not imprison existence. It organizes it. Organization is silent. Nothing feels different. Yet nothing is the same. This is how structural myths operate. They change rules. Surikada, not events. Sur. With Uranus present, space stops being permissive. Expansion becomes limited by relation. There is now a ceiling of possibility. Even if nothing touches it yet, touch is not required for constraint to exist. This is why the sky is dangerous. Not because it presses, but because it remains. Remaining conditions always accumulate consequences. Uranus does not see. He does not intend. He is not aware of Gaia. Awareness is irrelevant to structure. Structure operates without perception. The sky does not choose to cover. Coverage is implied by continuity. And continuity is unavoidable once established. This is not domination. It is completion. With Uranus present, pressure no longer belongs only to the ground. Before this moment, pressure accumulated downward, toward Gaia. Now pressure becomes relational. It exists between two conditions, below and above. This changes nothing immediately, but it changes everything structurally. Pressure is no longer something that settles. It is something that circulates. Circulation does not move matter. It moves consequence. When pressure has two boundaries, it cannot dissipate by direction alone. This is the moment pressure stops being local and becomes systemic. Systemic pressure does not resolve itself. It waits. Waiting is not inactivity. It is accumulation without release. This episode does not show release. Only the mechanism that makes release unavoidable later. Nothing is trapped yet, but nothing is free anymore. Freedom requires exit. Exit requires absence of boundary. Uranus removes nothing. He adds a condition. And conditions do not negotiate. The universe has not become confined. Kidene, it has become enclosed. Enclosure is not compression. Kani, it is limitation of possibility. Karainami. Possibility can still exist. But only within a frame. Frames do not act. They define outcomes before action occurs. This is why enclosure is more dangerous than force. Force ends. Enclosure persists. Persistence transforms neutral existence into a system that remembers pressure. Memory is not consciousness. It is structure that does not forget. With enclosure established, the universe gains architecture. Architecture does not create events. It prepares them. Preparation does not require intention, only stability. Uranus does not push, he remains. Remaining is sufficient. This is why Greek myth builds worlds before stories. Stories explain actions. Structures explain inevitability. Inevitability is silent until it manifests. This episode ends before manifestation. But the rules that will govern manifestation are now fixed. From this moment forward, nothing that emerges will do so freely. Emergence will always negotiate with enclosure. Negotiation implies resistance. Even before resistance appears. Uranus is not distant. Distance requires separation. He is continuous. Continuity removes gaps. Gaps allow relief. Without gaps, pressure has nowhere to rest. Rest is not absence of motion. It is absence of requirement. Requirement now exists everywhere. This does not harm Gaia. But it changes what endurance means. Endurance is no longer optional. It is mandatory. Mandatory endurance creates strain. Strain does not break immediately. It accumulates silently. This silence is not peace. It is latency. Latency is pressure waiting for structure to fail. Failure has not occurred, but the conditions for failure now exist. Nothing opposes Uranus yet. Opposition requires emergence. Emergence requires space. Space now exists only within enclosure. Enclosure reshapes what emergence can become. Birth will still occur, but not freely. Freedom allows expansion. Constraint redirects it. Redirection concentrates consequence. Concentration does not announce itself. It compounds. This is why this moment feels uneventful. Uneventful moments install rules. Events merely reveal them. The sky has not acted. Yet it has already altered every future action. This is structural causality. Cause without motion, effect without event. Gaia remains intact. Uranus remains continuous. There is no rupture, no fracture, no violence. Yet continuity itself is becoming a problem. When two conditions persist without separation, pressure cannot reset. Iwuanni. Reset requires alternation. Alternation requires distance. Luyuwawi. Distance no longer exists. This is not conflict. It is permanence without relief. Relief is not destruction. It is interruption. Interruption has not yet entered the system. But without interruption, pressure becomes directional in time. Time has not begun, but its shadow is forming. This episode marks the last moment of neutral structure. After this, every condition will interact. Interaction does not imply intention. It implies consequence. Consequences do not choose when to appear. They appear when structure demands it. Uranus does not suppress yet. He enables suppression by remaining uninterrupted. Kukinderfienum. This distinction matters. Oppression is not always forceful. Sometimes it is constant. Constant conditions remove alternatives. Alternatives are the source of release. Release is no longer structurally available. The universe has not noticed this yet. But it will. From this point onward, anything that exists must negotiate position. Position is no longer relative. It is constrained. Constraint does not eliminate movement. It shapes outcome. Shaped outcomes accumulate pattern. Pattern precedes narrative. This is why myths begin with structure, not character. Character reacts, structure governs. Uranus governs without action. This is the most unsettling form of power. Power that does not intervene but cannot be escaped. Escape requires outside, no longer exists. The sky is now present everywhere, but it has not yet become oppressive. Oppression requires reaction. Reaction requires emergence. Emergence is about to become a problem. This is the last moment before coverage matters. Key, before enclosure becomes domination. Nothing has gone wrong. But nothing can go back. Kamen. The system is complete. Completion is not resolution. It is commitment. The universe is now committed to its structure. Structure will not change easily. Change will require force or rupture. Neither exists yet. In the next episode, the sky does not move. The sky does not act, but continuity becomes total. When enclosure becomes uninterrupted, emergence loses space. Loss of space does not destroy. It suppresses. Suppression does not break existence. It prevents release. And when release is impossible, pressure turns inward. Nothing collapses, yet suppression begins. This is not the story of violence. It is the story of why violence becomes inevitable.